welcome to One Girl in All the World, a Buffy the Vampire Slayer rewatch podcast where we recap each episode in order and discuss. I'm Ashley, Buffy superfan.
I'm Kimmy, Buffy newbie.
You can find us on all major podcast apps, YouTube, and Instagram with new episodes on Tuesdays. Okay, how are you?
I mean, I cried a lot.
How are you coping?
This was a hard episode.
Very hard.
I wasn't expecting it. They like duped us. They're like, oh, she has brain cancer. And I'm like, well, you can't come back from that. And then they're like, cured. Just kidding.
Well, since she had a tumor, I don't know if they said it was, they didn't say it was cancerous.
I guess.
So I guess it was benign, I guess.
I just assumed, yeah.
I mean, it's not good.
But even if you have a brain tumor, whether it's benign or not, being able to get it out.
Oh, yeah. Anyway. Benign or not, you are.
Sounds like a death sentence, especially in the early 2000s.
It's not great. It's not a good thing. You don't want that. Like, we're on the same page there. But yeah, they like lulled you enough to.
They tricked me.
Well, honestly, they didn't lull us into a false thing because it was a side effect. It was like a risk factor of the surgery. It wasn't the actual brain tumor. I didn't think
it was going to happen, though.
Yeah, I know. So
and And I'm kind of curious to know, though, too, like, aneurysms can just happen to people. We don't actually know a lot about aneurysms. Sometimes they can just happen for absolutely no reason to anybody at any time. So it could have just been that, too. Like, we don't actually know if it was from the surgery 100%, right? I know they said it in the episode, but...
Yeah, they implied it was, for sure.
They implied it. But, like, we don't know for sure if that's actually...
but it's probably likely.
Probably.
But, yeah. Yes, so I can only think of one other episode that's as emotionally disturbing as this one.
Have we seen it yet? Oh,
no.
Shit.
No.
Oh,
it's not in the season.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
All right. So I guess
someone else must die. Great.
Fun times.
Okay.
All right. So The Body.
Okay.
Originally aired February 27th, 2001. And of course, it was written and directed by Joss Whedon because it is a very consequential episode. And the synopsis is Buffy and her friends are overwhelmed with grief and their lives are now changed forever when they must deal with the loss of someone close to all of them. Yeah, I wonder who that could be. Okay, so we start off right where we left off in I Was Made to Love You, where Buffy comes home and she is calling for her mom. She sees flowers.
They do a repeat. Like you said, they weren't originally going to put that in the last episode?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so this was the beginning of this episode.
Yeah. So they just kind of just pasted this little first part on the back of the last episode.
Okay.
As a cliffhanger. She comes home looking for Joyce, sees the card with the flowers, and is kind of happy for her mom. And then as we saw before, she sees her mom laying on the couch.
Yep.
Her mom is not responding, and Buffy keeps calling for her. And then we go to the credits. So all this we've seen already. And
then we have this Thanksgiving flashback, and this is not something we've seen. Oh, Christmas.
Yeah. This is a scene we haven't seen before. Okay. So this is a recent Christmas where all the Scoobies and Giles and obviously Dawn and like Joyce are around her table. So yeah, she's hosted Christmas for everybody. And they're so stuffed, but now Joyce made pie, so they're going to have pie. So Buffy, Joyce, and Giles go into the kitchen while the rest of them sit around the table. And Anya regales us with a story about how Santa's real.
Claus. Yeah.
It's a myth that he's not real.
Right.
And the whole thing, reindeer coming down the chimney, it's all true. But instead of leaving presents, it's more like disemboweled children.
It's not creepy at all. Yeah,
everyone's like, everybody was so excited.
Great story. Yeah, that Santa was real.
They're like, oh my God, really? Like the little child and everyone came alive again.
Of course they
only
did.
To be squashed.
Because Santa's a demon.
Their inner child was slapped. So then we go into the kitchen where Buffy, Giles, and Joyce are kind of like picking like plates up, cleaning up, getting ready for dessert. And Buffy says, they're like, Giles asked Joyce if they should open like another bottle of wine or something. And she's like, sure, why not? And she's like, as long as you guys stay away from the band candy. That's the candy they ate. And then they boinked on top of a police car twice. And
yeah, there's like a lot of joking around in this episode.
Yeah, it's very like, light in this moment.
Scene, I mean.
Yeah, in the scene, in this moment. Because it's a happy time, you know?
Yeah.
And Joyce is like, Buffy, like, why are you saying that? what? Like, you're torturing me. And she's like, that's my job. And there's this have a cute little mother-daughter banter. And then it's really jarring because when Joy says she burnt the pie, and then Buffy's like, we can just cut it off.
It's just Cajun.
Yeah, and we can cut around the burnt parts, and then the pie falls, and immediately we're taken to Joyce's like face.
Yeah.
In the now. And so I read that they Joss Whedon put this scene in here because he didn't want the opening credits going over the next scene where Buffy's like going up to her mom and stuff. So that's why he put that in there.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, because during that scene that we just saw, like that's where like the credits are going on the screen. Yes, we come back to reality very jarringly. And one thing I want to ask you, did you notice anything different about the production of this episode?
Yes, I did actually. The filming was a lot different. It was all like what is it called?
Very long shots.
One take shots, right?
Yeah.
Where it's just like the camera just follows and there's no cuts or anything like that. It was very interesting.
Yeah. Anything else?
No.
No music.
Yes, it was quiet.
Yeah. Yeah, he said, like, Joss Whedon talked about it, he said, like, music comforts the audience, and I didn't want them to be comforted in this episode.
Damn.
So,
okay.
That's something, yeah.
Well, nobody was comforted, so.
No, commission accomplished.
Job well done.
So, yeah, Buffy panics, runs up to her mom, shaking her mom. Her mom is not responding.
Yeah.
So she runs into the kitchen to call 911. A lot of this episode is very, like, nonverbal, like, some of the important parts are nonverbal, so my notes are not going to do it justice, but... She calls 911, and the operator gets her address, 1630 Ravello, and sends the ambulance out. And she
starts asking about CPR. Like, can you try CPR? And Buffy's like, I don't remember CPR.
Yeah.
And then...
So when she starts telling her, she's okay, I remember now.
Yeah.
And it's so sad, like, when she puts the phone on, she's like, I can do this. It's so sad.
Yeah, it is.
And, she starts doing CPR on her mom and breaks her rib.
Yeah. Which... That's normal. That is a normal thing.
But she's also like panicked and has Slayer strength, so she definitely was going to break something. I get it. Well.
Yeah, but that is normal when you do CPR. You will break rib cartilage at least. Yeah, or cartilage at least. Yeah. So
she gets back on the phone. It's like, something cracked. She's like, like she said, that's okay. That's normal. And then Buffy says she's cold.
Yeah.
Should I like make her warm? And then the 911 operator says the body is cold.
And then Buffy's like, no, my mom.
Yeah. Buffy.
She's not a body. Oh, man.
Yeah. So then she's okay. If it's best just to wait. Is she breathing now? And she said, no, it's best to wait for the ambulance.
Yep. So I feel like the operator knows at this point.
Yeah. And so she hangs up and she calls Giles. And when it's interesting because like when she starts to call Giles, like she's like looks at like it like zooms in, like she's just totally like.
She's in shock.
Focused on like the letters, the numbers on the phone pad, and it's just like white noise, like it's just ambient noise. And then she like dials Giles and just says, Giles, you have to come. She's at the house. And he's like, what? And then she just hangs up.
Yeah.
Giles has like no idea.
No.
What he's talking about.
So the paramedics arrive.
Yeah. The ambulance arrives, but she hears them, but she also knows that her mom's skirt is kind of ridden up from like her giving her CPR. So she runs and like pulls her mom's skirt down.
I thought that was actually a sweet moment.
Yeah. It's like she wants her mom to have like her modesty and stuff. Because, her mom would hate for these strangers to come into the house and her skirt's all ridden up.
Of course.
So it was very, it was like a very real moment where she was like, oh, this will be embarrassment. This will embarrass my mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they come in. They put her on the floor and they start CPR. They're asking her questions about her health. Buffy does tell them about the brain tumor, that she was fine. She had a surgery. Everything was fine. And so they incubate her and they start doing the CPR. And then magically, Joyce starts breathing again.
Yeah. And they ride in the ambulance.
And then she's in the hospital and she's like, oh, like Buffy, you made it just in time. And oh.
Thank God.
And then, of course, it's just a fantasy.
Yep. She just goes back to reality.
They're still
They're working on her.
Still working on her.
It's not working.
When Joy started like breathing, did you think it was real?
For a second.
Yeah. For a second.
Yeah. I don't know why. Because I was like, there's no way it could be.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Because the paramedic, and they kind of like tried to like fool that side of you that's like, what? Because he was like, we've never brought one back. A paramedic said, we never brought one back this long. So you're like, oh, wait, maybe it is real. But
yeah, but no.
Yeah. She just was like imagining it.
Yeah.
So eventually the medics call it.
Yep.
That they stop CPR on Joyce. And they get another call. So they have to like wrap things up. So the one medic tells Buffy that like he's sorry, but her mom is dead. And that she probably has been dead a while. So
there's nothing she could have done.
Nothing you could have done. And then it looks like it probably was an aneurysm as a side effect from the surgery.
Surgery, yeah.
And if you notice, like when he's being shot, you only see his lips down.
Yep.
Like
I thought that was really interesting.
It's like Buffy's only like.
Well, they also
attention.
Right before he started to talk to her, like it almost looked like I don't know if this was just a camera angle, but it almost made it look like she sank down a bit. Like I don't think she sat down, but it just like the way the camera angle was, I was like, oh, because I even wrote it down. She sinks down, and then he's talking to her, and yeah, you can only see the bit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
I thought that was interesting. Yeah,
it is. Probably complication from the surgery, as we said, and that the coroner will come. He's going to call it in. The coroner is going to come. It might take a while, and try not to disturb the body.
And so this is something I didn't know because I've never had anybody die at home before. But it's just like, yeah, of course, if somebody dies at home and the paramedics come and can't do anything, they're not going to take the body away. It's just hanging out there with you. Like, oh my God, that's a lot to deal with right there.
Yeah, that's what happened with my dad.
Oh God, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I wasn't there. I was here.
Okay, that must have been so hard for.
But yeah, there was no paramedics because he was on
right
hospice.
Okay.
But yeah, they just came like hours later.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine died in the hospital, so it was just he was already there. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't think about it.
Yeah. So yeah, that's how it happens. Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay.
And they have to go and do another call. So he does take a moment with her.
He was nice.
He was nice. Yeah. I mean,
that's a hard job too.
What you could do. What can he do? But he says sorry for your loss and everything, and he leaves.
And he's like, he asked her, like, do you have someone you can call?
Yeah. Yeah. And she said they're already on their way. Yeah. And then the weird things that you say, like when they leave, she's like, good luck.
Good luck. Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's just, this is such a real depiction of.
She's like, very much in shock.
Immediate grief. I feel like this is a very real depiction because Joss Whedon lost his mom in a car accident, I think, when he was younger. So this is like kind of like him working through that situation. Okay. All right. So Buffy goes into the
to go put the phone
almost
down.
like a room we haven't seen. It's kind of like a weird room off of the kitchen, and she just bends over and vomits on the floor.
Yep.
And then she gets up, goes outside on the back porch, and she's like standing in the sun. She looks like shit.
Yeah, she does. She looks fevered.
Yeah.
She's getting some fresh air.
And then you hear all like these like school children playing at like a nearby school or something. Like life is just the day is just going on. People are just like going on. Yeah, like normal. Yeah. And then she comes back inside and gets a paper towel, goes and puts the paper towel on the vomit. And we see it like soak up the liquid. Gross. And she's just watching it. And we hear like the blood rushing in her ears. Oops. We hear like the blood rushing in her ears. And then she turns around and Giles has like burst through the door because he's like...
He's like, is it Glory?
He thinks it's Glory because...
Of course.
I mean, that makes sense, right?
Because she said she's at the house, yeah.
She's at the house, you have to come. So she's like, is it Glory? It's Glory. And then and she's not really answering because, she's in shock.
So in shock, yeah.
And then he looks over, sees Joyce on the ground, runs over to Joyce and starts trying to help her. And Buffy's like, it's too late. We're not supposed to touch her. And then she's like, we're not supposed to move the body.
And then she flinches.
It hits her. And then she realizes that her mom is dead. Like, really. Aww. And then Giles just comes up and hugs her. And she's like, Sarah Michelle Gellar did so well in this episode.
Yeah, it was hard to watch her.
Amazing. Yeah. And then we get a little quick shot of like the coroner putting her in the bag, like zipping her up into the bag. So at school, Dawn is crying, and we're like, "Oh my gosh, Dawn knows!"
Yeah, she knows. Yep.
And I think Buffy
she even says, "I can't believe it," and then her friend is like, "Oh, it's not that bad," and you're like, "What the fuck?"
Exactly, totally fake us out.
Beat her down.
It's really because a boy called her freaky, and that's why she's in the bathroom crying. And like rumors are spreading about her when she found out she was the key, and she like cut herself, and she got suspended from school. Like, so rumors are still circulating about her doing this and doing that.
Yeah.
So she's very upset about this. And so they go into their art class. And
I love how she comes across this Kirsty girl that was said the mean things about her, and she sees her and they have to be fake nice to each other. And that was such a thing when I was in school. I remember that. And Dawn's supposed to be high school, middle school, whatever.
High school, yeah.
High school, okay. I remember.
Oh wait,
that,
no.
yeah.
No, is she?
I'd say like middle school almost. No, like grade 8 or something.
She's 14.
So that could be grade 8 or grade 9, yeah. Okay.
That's high school.
But yeah, like you're fake nice to this other person that you know said something really shitty behind your back. Because like you can't just call them out on it.
Yeah, and also she's like, you can't let it like get to her. Because if you she sees you crying and stuff, then she's really gonna like go for blood. Like you have to pretend it doesn't bother you. So she goes into art class and they're working on negative space. So there's this Kevin guy that's next to her, and she obviously like likes him. So she likes
Kevin.
She likes Kevin. So they start talking, and even like her friend like holds up her like canvas and says, "He wants you."
Yeah, that was funny.
It was funny. So they're just like talking about stuff, and then he brings up, "Hey, I heard you like cut yourself and went crazy."
And she's like, no, not even.
Not even. But he's like, I felt like that before. I felt like that where like you just need to do something extreme. Feelings. You need to do something extreme to like deal with the pain.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, I had a lot of stuff going on with like my family and everything. And then she's still talking to him. We see Buffy come into the classroom and talk to the teacher.
Yeah.
And she sees Buffy, and she knows like obviously something's wrong. Like your parent or guardian, whatever, your older sibling does not come into your classroom in the middle of the day. So she takes her into the hallway, and Buffy tries to get her to go outside. Yeah. But Dawn's like, no, you need to tell me what's going on, because she's like obviously thinking the worst, which is what happened.
It is the worst, yep.
Yeah. And Buffy tells her it's bad, like we should just go outside. It's bad news. Yeah.
Tell her in the hallway, yeah.
She tells her in the hallway, but we don't really hear all. We don't tell her all.
No, that's the thing. Like it's almost like the camera's like inside the classroom
because everybody's watching.
Everybody just see it through the window. So all you see is her like, you can see her saying no, and you see her sink to the floor crying.
Yeah.
Or I think you can actually hear her yell no. Yeah.
Yeah. She says no, you're lying. So I have it here if you want me to tell you what it says.
Yes, I want to hear it.
Okay. So Buffy says, Mom died this morning while we were both at school. And then Dawn says no. Buffy says, I don't know exactly what happened, but she's dead. Dawn says, no, you're lying. You're lying. She's fine. You're lying, which we do kind of hear through the thing. And she says, please, no, you're lying. She's fine. And Buffy says, Donnie. And then Dawn says, it's not true. It's not real. It's not real. And then she falls on the floor.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah. So that's what's said through the glass. Yeah, and Dawn collapses, and Buffy just like goes on the floor with her, which is so sad. Mm-hmm. And like everybody in the classroom just like,
yeah,
they can hear her like crying and stuff.
Yeah. And
then we see a shot of Joyce at the morgue. Like I guess they've done like, it wasn't a full autopsy, but they've definitely
just cut something on her forehead.
Yeah, they looked at something in there.
Yeah.
And then we go to Willow's, and we see Anya and Xander are driving to Willow's, and then Tara and Willow are up in Willow's room. And Willow can't decide what to wear, so you were right.
Right.
You were right. She's thinking, like, yeah, why do I have such childish clothing? Like, they have, like, weird things on them. Like, this is not something you wear to help your friend who's going through.
Pro tip to anybody watching this, if your friend is going through this, they're not going to notice what you're wearing.
Yeah. She wouldn't, but, I feel like this is something Willow can control, and she's not. Doesn't feel even control of that, because she doesn't feel like. She also doesn't like feel like an adult.
Yeah,
she's like, why can't I just dress like an adult? Because I dress like a child and all this. So she's having all this. This isn't a very adult situation, like losing your parent.
Yeah, and this is something you shouldn't have to go through at this age.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Willow cannot decide what to wear. She's like, oh, this means this. This will give this impression, and this will give that impression, and I don't want to give any of those impressions.
Yellow's too cheery, purple's too somber, disrespectful.
Yeah.
She really wants this blue shirt, and she can't find her blue shirt.
Yeah, because Joyce said she liked it once, so she thinks that is perfect because Joyce liked it, but she can't find it.
Yeah.
And Willow's really struggling with, I need to get it together. I need to be supportive for Buffy. And then we get something that it was a really big deal, but it was kind of buried in this like very important episode because it's supposed to be not a big deal. It's because we see Willow and Tara kiss for the first time on screen.
Oh, I didn't realize that was the first time.
Yeah, they have not kissed before. And this essentially like ended the CW or the WB at the time had like a no like same sex policy, like,
That's
and
stupid.
this ended that. This was one of like the first same sex kisses on like network television.
I remember the
This
first one
moment.
was Roseanne, right?
I don't know,
The
but
first one ever? I think the first one ever was Roseanne.
yeah, it was one of the first ones.
Okay.
And yeah, so essentially that was no longer a thing on the CW after this episode. So that's a big deal. That was a very big deal.
That is a big deal. Happy Pride Month, everybody.
Yeah, wow, that's very timely. I did that on purpose,
That's right.
everyone. Yeah, so they kiss, and then Xander and Anya arrive, and Anya doesn't know what to do.
She is super annoying to me at first, and I'm like, stop it. Like, she'd get on my last nerve, but then I was just like, okay, I get it.
You were along with Willow on this ride.
She doesn't know how to talk about her feelings.
Yeah. She's been immortal for thousands of years. She has no reference for death anymore.
No, of course not. This is very new to her. I keep forgetting that.
Yeah. So they're going to go meet at the morgue. They're going to meet Buffy at the morgue. Xander thinks it was Glory, and they're like, it wasn't Glory.
No.
And he says, well, maybe she covered her tracks. And Willow says, why would she do that? She would want us to know that it was us. And then he's like, then it's the doctors. They just let her go and all this. He's just looking for someone to blame.
He has to blame somebody. Yeah. Because it's just for something like this to happen, you need to have blame. You can't just have things like this happen for no reason.
Yeah. He needs someone to blame. Anya asks, well, we see the body? And like, will they cut open the body? And like, she's asking all these questions about the body. And Willow was like shocked and like, what is wrong with you? You can't ask questions like this.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tara talks about patrolling, that they're going to take over patrolling as long as Buffy needs. Mm-hmm. Willow wants that blue sweater. She's still looking for it. And then Tara says she's going to go check the laundry room. So then again, I think Anya asks another question about the body. Like, will they cut it open? I think is when she says this time. And Willow is like, just kind of goes at her.
Yeah.
And Anya, like, has an amazing... Like, Emma Caulfield does, like, amazing... This is, like, her best scene in the whole show, I think. The speech that she gives.
The speech, yes, but so I thought everybody in this whole episode was really good. Like, the acting, the grief that they showed, but I actually didn't like her acting in this scene.
Oh, really? Okay.
I thought it was not very good.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, she does this whole speech about how she doesn't understand. Like, everyone's getting so frustrated with her, but she doesn't understand why Joyce is dead. She doesn't understand how she's there 1 minute, she's gone the next. She's not going to be able to brush her hair. She's not going to be able to have fruit punch. She's not going to be able to yawn anymore, and nobody will explain to her why this is.
Yeah.
And she's getting very upset while she gives this speech. And Willow does, like, okay, like, I get it. She's like, we don't know why.
Yeah.
That's part of, like, the whole, like, problem with death. Like, we don't know why.
No, it just happens.
Yeah. And Xander's kind of, they're just sitting there very quietly.
Well, Anya sits down in Willow's chair, and she's sitting on something. What is it? And she just pulls it out, and it's the blue shirt, and she just stuffs it in a drawer. And I'm like, damn it, Anya.
Yeah, she found it unknowingly. I don't think she was even paying attention to that. And then Xander punches the wall.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming.
His arm is stuck. And of course, Tara comes back and says, it's not the laundry room. Oh, okay. We were punching the walls now. And they have to help him out of the wall because his arm is stuck. And it's bleeding.
Oh, yeah.
And he said it did help for a minute.
Second.
Second, yeah, it did help.
That's good.
So they clean him up, and they're like, we need to get out of here. We need to, like, get going. So they leave. Willow comes back for a sweater. She runs her back for a second. And then we see outside, we forgot to mention, that Xander does double park, and they're like, let him give me a ticket. And he is getting a ticket out the window, we see.
Yeah.
Okay, so at the hospital... the doctor finishes up, I guess, the autopsy on Joyce. He does a very long walk.
Yeah.
Out from the morgue.
This huge long hallway thing.
Out into, like, the waiting area. And then we see that the gang's all together. They're all hugging each other. And then the doctor comes out and says that it was an aneurysm from the surgery.
Yeah.
And that Buffy said, well, shouldn't we have known about that? He's like, your mom did know that it was a risk. And he said there was probably very little pain. She wasn't even near the phone or anything, so she probably felt nauseous, laid down, and then passed out. And that was probably it. Even if you were there,
there's nothing
you could have done.
It would have been too late anyway.
And Buffy's like, are you sure there wasn't any pain? And he's like, absolutely. And he says something else. If you've noticed, this seemed weird because he says something else, but what his voice with Buffy hears is, I have to lie to you to make you feel better.
Yeah, I did.
But that's not what he actually says.
Right, but that's what she's...
Yeah, so she's like, he's lying to me.
Yeah.
He's just telling me this, that she wasn't in pain because...
my understanding is that with aneurysms is that I think it is like, well, I mean, even if they do feel pain, it's like so fast that it's just...
I mean, the way it looks like she just sat down or laid down because she was feeling a little whoa, and that was it.
That's usually exactly what it is.
So, I mean, that tracks with what he's saying. But, Buffy's not in a mindset to believe that at the moment. Yeah. So she does think that he's lying to her.
And then he starts talking about forms and decisions, and it's like, oh my God. Yeah. Like, I know he has to do that, but I'm just like, can you just give her a minute?
Yeah, and that's where Giles kind of steps in. And he's like, I'm going to take care of everything that you can't take care of. So Giles goes off with the doctor. Dawn does ask to see Joyce. And Buffy kind of like brushes her off. Yeah. And Dawn says she's going to go to the bathroom. Dawn says she's going to go to the bathroom. And then Buffy says she tells the group that she thinks that Dawn's mad at her because she's the one that had to tell her that Joyce was dead.
And I think Dawn is mad, but I don't think she's mad at Buffy.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. She's 14 and her mom just died, so there's a lot to be mad about.
She's going to be angry. Yep.
Yeah. So Anya, Willow, and Xander go to get snacks. So they don't know what to do. They're like, do you want to eat? Like, we should eat something. And maybe Dawn could use something. So they go off to just find food. And that leaves Buffy and Tara there alone.
Yeah, I liked this scene.
Yeah. And Tara kind of talks to Buffy about how when her mom died.
Yeah, and we don't know what happens, but Buffy asks her if it was sudden, and she says, no, yes. And then it's always sudden. And that was such a powerful thing to say. And I'm like, I never thought about it that way, but you're like, you can know somebody's going to die for however long, like months, years, whatever. And when it happens, it's still going to be that sudden. Like, it's just, you're still never, ever going to be prepared for that.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
And I was just like, whoa, that was...
It's true.
A powerful statement.
Like, even when they told me that like my dad had like a week left, it was 2 days. We were like, what? Like,
no, you can never be prepared.
You're
for
always
that.
shocked. You're always shocked when it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Tara talks about how she was like 17 when her mom died.
Yeah.
And she did a lot of things, a lot of crazy things. She had a lot of crazy thoughts that made her that she didn't understand or could not explain to anybody.
Yeah. So
she's like, I know it will be different for you because everybody is different for everyone. But if you ever like need anything.
Yeah.
Because she's been through something similar at an even younger age.
Yeah.
And then we see Dawn coming out of the bathroom, and she sneaks into the morgue because she wants to see Joyce.
I mean, I kind of get it because I think almost she doesn't believe it almost. Like, maybe she needs to see proof of it. Like,
yeah.
I don't actually believe she's gone, so maybe this will help me see that she's actually gone.
Yeah, because when Buffy said she's mad at me, I think she wouldn't believe me. I still don't think she believes me.
Yeah.
And she kept saying, you're lying, you're lying. I think Buffy saw her. Buffy saw Joyce. Yep. And especially at that age, even though it's horrible, they do say it is healthy if the child wants to see the parent, that you should let them see them.
Yeah.
And like go to the funeral and all that. I know John is old enough to go to the funeral, but even younger and all that. Like it's healthy to, if they want to see the person, they should see them.
Yeah.
And so she goes in the morgue and she's kind of like, goes up to like what she thinks is her mom. The sheet is still over Joyce's face. And we see a vampire rise behind her.
Yeah. Oh my God. Of course.
Yeah. And then the gang comes back to Tara and
with
Buffy.
So many snacks.
So many snacks. Drinks and sandwiches and then like candy, everything. She's like, we went a little insane. We got everything. And Buffy says, I just can't eat. I just can't. And she's like, well, what about Dawn? And she's like, oh, yeah, Dawn's still in the bathroom? That's weird. And then Buffy's like, I'm going to go look for her. And Buffy happens to look in like the window. The door has a window. Looks in there and she sees Dawn like struggling with this vampire.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to So Buffy breaks in there and starts fighting the vamp. And Dawn kind of gets thrown against like the table Joyce is on, and it kind of pulls the sheet down. So like Joyce's face is like uncovered. And Buffy is fighting this vampire, and she seems like
she's struggling.
She is struggling. She is not in the frame of mind to like take on a vampire.
Also, is this, I can't remember if this is true in this show, but is like newborn vampires extra strong, or is that like...
I know that's usually a lore.
He looks so crazy.
He does look crazy.
Like, holy crap. You can see like almost like, I don't know, veins or whatever.
I don't recall.
Okay.
Them saying that they're more...
He seems super strong.
I think it's Buffy.
That honestly. Too.
I think she's just not in the frame of mind to fight. It's a very scrappy fight. It's very messy. You know what I mean? It's like a brawl. It's not like Buffy doing like her high kicks and her flips and all this.
And
like
her
it's
focus.
Like, it's a scrappy fight.
Survival, yeah.
Yeah. And Buffy dusts the vamp by using like this, one of the saws.
Tool for
like one of the saws that they cut people open with, and like saws his head off.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. Yeah. So they notice that Joyce is like, they can see Joyce.
Yeah, so Dawn sees her.
Yeah, Dawn like kind of walks up to her and says, Buffy says that's not her anymore. She's gone.
Yeah.
And she's like, where did she go? And all this. And Buffy's like, Dawn's like, is she cold? And then Dawn goes to like touch Joyce's face. And like that, before she touches her, it's the end of the episode.
Yep.
And they're just in the morgue with their mom.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's that episode.
And so Dawn got to see Joyce. So very sad episode, obviously.
Yeah, this episode sucks. I mean, it's good. You know what I mean?
It's well done, but it sucks.
It's just hard.
There's a lot of Buffy episodes like that. Like, so sad, but extremely well done as a piece of art. So my favorite quote was, it's so funny that we talked about this already, when Tara says it's always sudden. And the whole conversation around that was so like true. I think everybody can like feel that, like can relate to that, that's ever lost somebody, because that's definitely been my experience as well. And then my favorite scene was Anya's speech.
Okay.
I just think it was
a very good speech.
Yeah.
And it shows her humanity.
Yeah, she's grieving, and she doesn't understand what to do with it. She's never really had to grieve before. I don't think if she knew anybody that died when she was like a human, that was thousands of years ago.
Yeah, that's true.
Or 1,000 years ago.
And she was pretty young at the time, so she probably...
Yeah, it's possible that she didn't.
Had to deal with it, yeah.
Yeah. So, this is all new to her. She likes Joyce. She does not understand this whole thing. Like, as much as we don't understand death and like dealing with grief, we have like points of reference, really. And I feel like she does not have those at all. So she's like completely very confusing to her. And I just thought it was a great speech. Like all those like normal mundane things that she doesn't understand why Joyce can't do anymore. Yeah, have fruit punch and comb her hair. Like why can't you do these things? I don't understand.
Normal human things, yeah.
Yeah. Things that we like don't think about.
Take for granted.
Yeah.
You're brushing your hair right now.
Oh, jeez, I didn't even know that. No, I thought about this kind of stuff too. Like my dad's a big Browns fan. I'm like, I'll never watch a Browns game again.
No.
Like that's kind of stuff you think about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that was a very good speech and a good moment.
Yeah. I decided to take a lighter approach with the quote, and I don't remember exactly. It was after Anya said her big speech, and then later on she says something slightly more awkward again. I don't remember what it was.
To Buffy?
I don't remember, but anyway, Xander's like, Anya, ever the wordsmith.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It was that was with Buffy. That was when Anya said, "I'm sorry, Joyce died. I'm sorry, Joyce is dead." Because she was a nice lady, and now we all hurt.
Yes. Okay.
And then he says, "Anya, ever the wordsmith." Yeah.
I thought that was kind of cute.
And Buffy. Oh my
god. One part of the episode that made me giggle a little.
Yeah. And Buffy does like kind of take pity on her. She's like, "Thank you. Like I know what you're trying to express."
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And then my favorite scene was actually the scene with Buffy and Tara. I just thought that was a really, really well done scene. And we're learning a little bit more about Tara. Like I feel like I know we had that episode where we learned more about her dad, but just I feel like we still don't know a lot about her. So we're
Mm-hmm.
getting these little snippets about her, and yeah.
Yeah. That was a really good scene. Yeah.
Hmm.
So I gave it a 5 out of 5.
Mm.
Just so well done, consequential. I
Yeah.
mean, no music, the long shots. Like from a filmmaking perspective, it was like
Yep.
really, really, really well done. I think it conveyed like those first. It's not even 12, like 12 hours of grief.
Brief. Yeah.
Yeah, like the like just like zoning out and focusing on weird things and saying strange things and all that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think it was really, really effective in that way. Um, yeah, I think it was a very good like point of view of like seeing death and like dealing with that. And the Tara Willow kiss was a huge deal, but I like how they
Yeah.
kind of buried it in this like really important episode because it shouldn't be like a big deal. It should be
Yep.
just be two people like consoling each other. You know what I mean? Like two partners like kissing. And so I kind of like how they did it that way instead of, making it a
About
big
that.
spectacle.
Yeah.
Um,
I guess I didn't even connect. Like it didn't even faze me. I was
it just made it normal. Just made
yeah,
it normal
exactly.
in like a very sad episode.
Yeah.
So that was a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I gave it a 4.8. I like no particular reason why I didn't give it a 5. I just, I don't really dole out those size. 4.8 is like a pretty high rating for me.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, like just everything you already said basically. Yeah, the shooting, the videography, whatever, was really good, really interesting. And yeah, it was just really sad. They did convey grief really well. They were kind of like I do really believe in that whole stages of grief thing, and they did actually show a lot of them in this episode. So I thought that was a
Mm-hmm.
and just watching Giles be there for Buffy, and he's just like, I'll take care of this paperwork stuff. You don't have to worry about that. Because I mean, Buffy's gonna have so much to deal with now. Like I can't even imagine. But yeah, and then just basically at the end, just Buffy and Dawn. They're gonna have to figure this out together.
Yeah, like what's gonna happen to Dawn?
Yeah.
She's 14. She's a minor.
Yeah.
Buffy's barely not a minor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Buffy's 20 years old.
Yeah.
Like, is she gonna be the guardian of her sister or what? Like,
Yeah, I mean, I think she has to be.
like,
She's not even a sister. She's the key.
yeah,
It's
they
not
have
like
a
she can go
father
into
somewhere.
she can't go into the foster system.
I mean,
I guess
according
she
to
could.
she could, like,
Yeah,
but
I guess. Yeah.
there's nothing Buffy could. I mean, I don't know what Buffy could do to stop that from happening.
Mm.
She'd have to do something. Yeah. Who knows? Who's gonna happen from here on out?
So yeah, good episode.
Yeah, very sad.
Heart-wrenching.
Yeah. All right. So the next episode is called Forever.
Okay.
And what does Dawn do to cope with Joyce's death?
Ooh. Drinking or drugs, maybe?
Okay.
I don't know. She's only 14 though. Okay, yeah, I don't know. Let's go with one of those things.
Drinking or drugs. Okay.
Yeah.
I will say, like, the end of this next episode is like, oh.
What? Really?
Good,
Why?
good, heart-wrenching. But
Great.
Good. Like, very emotional and like, oh.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
The, like, big last scene of this is like.
Really?
Yeah.
But like a good way. Oh God. I don't want to watch it.
There is some good that comes out of it, but it's very like hard. It's sad too.
Great. Okay.
Something to look forward to, Kimmy.
Great.
More sadness. You think it wasn't going to be like a palate cleanser right after this?
No.
It's too soon. Too soon, Kimmy.
We're almost at the end of this season, right? If we're on episode 17, there's got to be like what, five episodes
There's
left
22. There's 22.
Okay,
So
17, 18.
yeah, we're barreling towards the end.
Okay, we still got to go through what Buffy bought and Glory. Like, come on, guys. This is a lot in this season. Holy.
It is. How are you liking this season?
It is a really good season.
You're enjoying it?
I am enjoying it, yeah.
Is it your favorite?
Yeah, it is my favorite. And it's funny because I was thinking about how we're going to do our, like, what is that called?
Our postmortem?
Postmortem. I was already starting to think about that. I was like, ooh, we're past the halfway point. We're like close to the end. I got to start thinking about that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Okay, good. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Yeah, this is my favorite season for sure.
Yeah, I know it is. I know it is. Yeah.
If I haven't told you, if you were unaware, it's my favorite. Alrighty. Okay. So that wraps up season 5, episode 16, The Body. Again, you can find us on all major podcast apps, YouTube and Instagram at One Girl and All the World Pod. You can also email us at onegirlpod@gmail.com. Thanks for joining us, and we'll be back next week with season 5, episode 17, Forever. Slay you real soon.
Bye.
Bye.